think everybody can take something from this.
Mm-hmm.
Be it how well that Bloomquist chassis held up, and that he was able to go out and race that night, or I'm sorry, take test laps and then race when his dad wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Or and then
And
even,
that's the stubbornness. That must have been the concussion.
you'd think, but I think we can take a lot from it. And don't get me wrong, Josh. I'm not saying that the Hans caused this. I'm not saying that it was.
No, we're just
something in
going
the car.
off the reports of
Going
what we
off
got.
that.
It's just our own opinion and whatever.
I still believe that a head and neck restraint of some type, be it a Hans, be it a Simpson hybrid, that
Something.
even those two devices in particular are something that every driver
Or the Gentex.
or the Gentex are devices. A device of that type is something every driver should consider adding to their program.
And that's all the way from kids to adults.
Yeah, I mean, I've helped kids in their carts. Dustin Asher ran a 125 this last winter. Went up to Cage Cup.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting there strapping on a Simpson hybrid. He's in a 125 cart.
It
It don't matter. I mean, I don't care if you're racing a 5 horsepower Pee-wee.
Mm-hmm.
If you get used to it racing it now, as a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old, racing with a hybrid or a Hans or some type of a head and neck restraint device, it's going to be that much easier when they get into a late model and start winning mom and dad millions of dollars a year.
Right? I mean, you think about it, and I'm kind of the bad person when it comes to it, because I have my 1.5-year-old in his little Power Wheel, and he doesn't have a helmet on, and I know I'm being a hypocrite. He doesn't have a helmet on, doesn't have a head and neck restraint of some sort, doesn't have a collar or something like that. And I think it's 5 miles an hour. You can die in a 5 mile an hour impact.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, his little
Bedford 8000 Power
Jesus.
Wheel that you put the 18 volt.
So this thing, and he knows how to shift now from low to high. And say if I trip, right? Say if I go to catch him because he isn't steering right or like that, and he hits something. How bad would it be? And I'm sure his mother's listening.
Trish, I'm sorry.
And she's throwing up because she's been throwing up all day from this baby. But anyways,
whose fault was that?
Told you she was poking around the wrong time and took stuff seriously.
Hey, that's
Beep.
one.
Sorry, Corey. But anyways, he'll get an email for that one. It's all good. But that's something or whatever is that we're talking about. Even if you start looking at these BMX drivers, these riders or whatever, they have some sort of plastic, head and neck restraint. Even the motorcycle racers and stuff, they have a head and neck restraint.
Mm-hmm.
Something to help with that frontal impact or that neck impact or whatever, because
You got to think. So we're talking about. Okay, now we're going to go down physiology, anatomy and physiology. I'm going back to my high school days here, my athletic training
Why are you
classes.
looking up those words on your phone?
Because I don't know what they mean. Let's just be honest here. But you start going down that road, and if you have ever studied the neck and how the body's constructed, it's
very fragile.
It's very fragile. The bone that actually your whole skull sits on is very small. The axis, which is C2, or the second bone down from your skull base.
Right.
The atlas, or excuse me, one of those, I can't remember. It's been like 10 years, 11, 12 years since I've been in high school. Anyways, you got your atlas and your axis. I know those two bones are up there, C1 and C2.
Right.
They pivot, and there's a little bone that sticks up. That bone is all that holds your skull on and all the muscles. And you're talking, this is a little bone. It's probably no bigger around than your pinky.
Ain't that crazy?
I can't remember how big it actually is. I've played with it before in Nat Phys, but it's been 11 years. My memory's fading.
Right.
Too many nights in the race shop with brake clean.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what we're gonna call it.
It was brake clean.
That's her name?
No. Brake clean. Actually, the car's name is Sarah.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
No, the car's name's Sarah. Seriously.
But I heard Sarah's actually leaving.
Sarah is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little sad. But anyways, we're going back to...
Sorry, we're getting sidetracked.
Squirrel!
You should see it in the studio. It's awesome. But
it's for that bone to break. That's all that's holding your spine in line to support your spinal cord. You think about the brachial skull fracture, basilar skull fracture, excuse me. You look at guys, IndyCar drivers, Floyd Roberts, Scott Brayton, NASCAR guys, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Adam Petty, big names right there. Tony Roper, Kenny Irwin Jr., Neil Bonnet, John Nemechek.
Now, how many of these injuries came before the head and neck restraint? All of them.
All of them.
And see,
it took Dale Sr. at Daytona. That one Sunday that nobody will forget, but everybody wants to.
And why did it? And this is what gets me. Why did it take Senior to push this? Why didn't it take Adam Petty? Now, mind you, I'm not saying it didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the research or whatever like that wasn't in effect, or the Petty family, because they're well known. Lee Petty, his
Richard Petty,
Andy, Kyle Petty, everything.
Kyle,
the Pettys and stuff are very, very well known. Just like
the first family in
Earnhardts.
NASCAR.
Right?
You got the two of the probably arguably the biggest families in NASCAR. Third one being the Allison brothers for duking it out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
With Yarborough. But two of the big families in NASCAR. And this happens to them. But look at football, for instance. All the research is just now coming out about concussions.
And they're sidelining you.
They're sidelining guys. Now, is that an advancement in technology? Is it an advancement in medical diagnostics?
Or is it
a
just
combination of everything?
Yeah, or is it just being looked at closer? Because these guys, 30 years ago that were playing football are having these massive brain aneurysms or whatever.
Muhammad Ali.
Right? And they're all looking down and going, wow, what's the common denominator? Oh, well, head injuries. Okay, well, now NFL and stuff is talking about the new smart helmet. They have those chips and all that type of stuff. I think they have like 87 chips or whatever the case in this helmet, and it will literally, if you get in if you get hit hard, it'll light up on a pad or something like that your coach or whatever will have, and they'll sit there and say, okay, we'll pull you out, and then they'll diagnose it right there and say, okay, well, was it this big of an injury? Is it concussion related? Is it this and this? And then they can take the helmet and they can download the information. We're getting so technical that we're having helmets we can download information on impact.
Well, remember 15 years ago, what was a cell phone like?
In a bag like mine over there?
That's a pretty big bag.
I'd rather how big the cell phone was, too.
I know, and now you basically have a laptop that you carry around in your pocket. I mean, these iPhones and these droids, you've got a laptop in your pocket. I mean,
you can do anything now with these phones, with these smartphones that...
The technology advancement in the last couple of years, I think these injuries have been there all along.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that they're just now being diagnosed, and that technology is getting to the point where, hey, we're able to see it more, and now we can take more precautions to save lives.
Right. And see, that's the thing too, is that if you, and I agree with you, those injuries have been there. Is it better for the sports that are having this technology come in? Because now you're taking these guys and sidelining them and all this type of stuff. And then, let's look at Junior right now. He's sidelined for concussion.
2 more weeks he'll be out. He'll miss the Southern 500 and the Michigan 500.
And that's going to be, what, a total of 6 weeks?
6 or 8.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Is it worth, and this is a question I always have to ask myself when we go to the racetrack, is it worth going out there if you're only going to be 90%?
Nope. Not at all. And is that race car going around and around in circles for those people up in the stands or whoever right? Is it worth your life in 10 years? If you could sit out one more race and then come back next week to know that if you race this week, you'd only have 10 more years left. Or you could wait another week and have 30 or 40 more years left. I would be out of that car, kicking back,
I'd go over to the stands and have me a hot dog and a Coke.
Right? And cheer for whoever. Because my life is not worth that race car or that injury or to, possibly, with Landers here, he went 3 more races. What if he'd have went 1 more lap? Just like you were talking about. What if he'd have gotten another accident? In his, his head moved or something like that. It'd have killed him. It would have killed him instantly.
And it would have left a mark.
Yep.
We've had too many marks on this sport. I think what we can take away from this, really is if you're in doubt, get checked out.
Well, the weird part about it is he did 3 times.
And if you're still not comfortable with it,
but the weird part about that, and this is the kicker, is that because he is a paid professional, and 3 people sat there and said you're good to go, he's not going to sit out. He's not. I mean, he's being paid to drive. He's not going to sit there and go, oh, you know what? I don't feel good today. I got a headache. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, no, you were okay and you were cleared. You just have a little, neck tension. Get back in that race car. That's what you're paid to do. Okay, well, now who do you listen to? Do you listen to your marketing partners or sponsors or whatever like that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you listen to the doctor saying that you're okay? Or do you listen to your body stating, man, something is not right?
Well, and here's the best part. You bring up marketing partners. One of the big names on Jared's car is CPS, Crop Production Services. Nationwide company, supplies fertilizer and chemicals to growers all over the country. Listen to this. We've had our ups and downs, Lance said, and Lance being Jared's father.
Right.
He's done a great job. His Bloomquist car has been great, and he's really coming along, or has really come along. And on top of that, this CPS sponsorship has been tremendous and supported us so much. Steve Martin of CPS has actually been with me all weekend because Batesville rained out. And he's like, man, I'm just proud of what we're doing and what we're doing.
He's got the hiccups. If you're listening to him, he's got the hiccups, race fans.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not tearing up.
No,
Matthew just didn't win the Strawberry Cup again. But however long it takes to get Jarrett back in racing, I'm behind you. So his own marketing partner is supporting him sitting out and saying, take the time you need. Go do what you need to do. Get well. We want Jared Landers 100% back flying the CPS flag.
Because if he's not, what's that gonna benefit him? If you're not 100% and you're supposed to be 100% for that, sponsor or whatever the case is, if you're 75% or whatever, you're not winning races, you're, maybe a top 10 car or whatever the case is. These are professionals. It's just like football or baseball or anything like that. You go to that event to win.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, well, if you're only a top 10 car now for the next 3 weeks, you're like, okay, what just happened? Something has to be wrong. Did our program just lose something? Are we just not focused? Are we just, missing something? No. That right there shows an amazing sponsor to sit there and say, you know what? Man, relax. Fix yourself first, then come back.
Exactly. And that's something I go back to being a crew chief. If we have an issue, let's say the car's not performing the way it should.
Right.
We're not getting the finishes we should. First thing I look at is the chassis, the physical side. What's different? And then I'll go through it. I mean, it could be everything from a bearing in the steering column to
binding up or something.
A bind to anything. Anything could happen. You get that taken care of? Okay. Where are we at mentally? Are we mentally prepared to go into battle?
Right.
Or do we have something else going on in the background? We all have jobs. We know work's stressful. Sometimes we take that to the track. I do my best that when I get on Highway 34 and I'm heading to Willamette Speedway, I try and turn work off. Sometimes I can't and my work phone keeps going off. But, it is what it is.
Right.
So you've got to be able to do what you do. You've got to be able to turn it off and be there 100% for yourself and for your teammates, your fellow racers, and your marketing partners.
No, and I agree 100% with you. Yeah, I mean, it's just something that you just don't. You just never know. I mean, things are too priceless. Racing is just racing. Your life is 100% more than that, and that's what it is. So. But race fans, we're going to take a quick commercial break, a couple minutes, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about some points. We're going to talk about upcoming events at both Sunset and Willamette Speedway. So with that said, race fans, we'll be right back. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Let's see if we can do this. Here we go.